High Counselor Vale stood at the massive viewing window of the Galactic Council's observation chamber, his four eyes fixed on the holographic display of a blue-green planet spinning slowly before him. His scaled hands clasped behind his back, knuckles white with tension. The planet shouldn't have concerned him. It was just another world in just another star system. But something about this one was different. Something about it made his ancient spine tingle with warning. "Play it again," he commanded, his voice echoing in the empty chamber. The AI system complied, projecting the surveillance footage captured by their border patrol ships. The images showed humans rebuilding their cities after what their intercepted communications called World War III. Where other species might have taken centuries to recover, these humans were rebuilding at an impossible pace. Towers rose from ashes in weeks, not years. Roads and infrastructure repaired themselves through swarms of robots. Their population, despite the devastating war, was already growing again. "Impossible," Vale muttered, but the evidence was right there. The door slid open behind him, and Council Member Dax hurried in, clutching a datapad. "High Counselor, you need to see this," she said, her normally steady voice trembling. "Our deep space monitoring station in their system just recorded this." The hologram shifted, showing a crude human spacecraft approaching one of their cloaked monitoring platforms. The ship was ugly by Council standards. All sharp angles and exposed engines, nothing like the sleek designs of civilized species. But it was there, in space, barely a decade after these humans had nearly destroyed themselves. How did they achieve spaceflight so quickly after their war? Dax asked, her tail twitching with nervous energy. "Our predictions suggested they wouldn't reach this capability for at least another 50 years. Vale didn't answer immediately. He watched as the human ship drew closer to their hidden platform. The humans shouldn't have been able to detect it. Their sensors were too primitive. Yet the ship's approach was deliberate, purposeful. "They're adaptable," he finally said. "Look at how they've taken their weapons of war and repurposed them for space exploration. Those engines, modified nuclear missiles. The hull, probably repurposed bunker materials." He paused, mandibles clicking in thought. "They don't create like we do. They improvise." The footage continued. The human ship extended a primitive docking arm toward the cloaked platform. That's when everything went wrong. The platform's automated defense systems, programmed to protect secret Council technology, activated. A brief flash of energy, and the human ship exploded into fragments. "By the first stars," Dax whispered. "There were 23 humans aboard that vessel." Vale closed his inner eyes in regret, while his outer pair continued watching the debris scatter across space. "Call an emergency Council session," he ordered. "Full assembly, highest secrecy protocols." Hours later, all 50 members of the Galactic Council sat in their crystalline chamber, watching the same footage. The debate that followed was heated, but brief. The vote was nearly unanimous. "Then it is decided," Vale announced, standing at the Council's central podium. "Earth will be quarantined. No contact, no interference. We will expand our monitoring network and ensure they remain contained within their solar system." He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes, optical sensors, and various sensory organs of each Council member. "We cannot risk them joining the galactic community. Not with their capacity for warfare. Not with their speed of adaptation. And especially not after this incident." What Vale and the Council didn't realize was that their decision came too late. Even as they voted, humans on Earth were already analyzing debris from their destroyed ship. In a hidden laboratory, scientists gathered around a twisted piece of metal that shouldn't have existed, a fragment of the Council's cloaked platform. And in orbit above Earth, a second human ship was preparing to launch. This one carried weapons. The game of hide and seek was over. The hunt was about to begin. Captain James Walker stared at the twisted piece of metal floating in the containment field. 3 weeks had passed since the destruction of the exploration vessel Starseeker, and this fragment was the only clue they had. It shouldn't have survived the explosion. Regular metal would have vaporized. But this wasn't regular metal. "Run the test again," he ordered, his voice tight with exhaustion. The laboratory team around him exchanged glances but complied. They'd run this test 50 times already, but their captain had lost friends on that ship. They understood his determination. The results flashed across the screen. Material composition unknown. "Sir," Dr. Tom Miller spoke up, adjusting his glasses, "we've confirmed 3 things. 1. This metal isn't from Earth. 2. It wasn't from Starseeker. And 3. He hesitated. It was designed to be invisible to our sensors." Walker's fist clenched. Invisible, like whatever destroyed our ship. The laboratory's secure door hissed open. General Adams strode in, followed by representatives from 5 different nations. The room suddenly felt very crowded. "Captain Walker," the general said, "show them." Walker pressed a button, and the holographic display activated. It showed Starseeker's final moments from multiple angles. The ship approached seemingly empty space, then suddenly, destruction. "We're not alone," the Russian representative said, breaking the heavy silence. "And they're hostile." "Not just hostile," Walker corrected, pointing to the fragment. "They're advanced, hidden throughout our solar system, and they've been watching us." The Chinese representative stepped forward. "The question is, what do we do about it?" The answer came sooner than anyone expected. Deep in the mountains of Switzerland, at the United Earth Defense Force headquarters, alarms began blaring. The tracking station had detected something massive appearing at the edge of the solar system. Walker, now aboard the newly commissioned warship Vengeance, watched the long-range scanner data with his heart pounding. Dozens of objects, each larger than any ship Earth had ever built, were appearing from nowhere. Multiple contacts. His sensor officer shouted. "They're dropping out of something. Some kind of faster-than-light travel." "Battle stations," Walker ordered, his voice calm despite the fear trying to claw its way up his throat. "Send word to command. First Contact Protocol Alpha is now in effect." Around the world, hidden bunkers opened. Weapons that had been theoretical days ago, reverse-engineered from that single fragment, were armed. Humanity had spent 3 weeks preparing for this moment, working at a pace that would have stunned their observers. In high orbit, the alien ships finally came to a stop. A transmission burst across all frequencies, translated in real time by computers using data recovered from the fragment. "Attention primitive species," the message began. "You have violated quarantine by destroying our observation post. Submit to containment procedures immediately." Walker looked at his crew, saw the same determination in their eyes that he felt in his heart. Humanity had faced extinction before, had nearly destroyed itself in war. But they had survived, adapted, grown stronger. Now some alien council thought they could simply lock humanity away. He opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Captain Walker. We've spent our entire history looking up at the stars, wondering if we were alone. Now we know. They're out there, and they think they can cage us." He paused, looking at the alien ships through his viewport. "Let's show them how humanity responds to threats." Across the solar system, humanity's ships moved into position. On Earth, reverse-engineered weapons powered up. The aliens had made 3 critical mistakes. They had attacked first, given humans access to their technology. And worst of all, they had given humanity time to prepare. The real first contact was about to begin. And it wouldn't be peaceful. Master Thex couldn't believe what he was seeing. The spy's hands trembled as he recorded his report for the Galactic Council. Through his ship's cloaked sensors, he watched humans do what should have been impossible. The fragment from the destroyed monitoring station, just one small piece, had been enough. In 3 months, the humans had not only understood the alien technology, but had started improving it. Their ships now carried hybrid weapons that combined Council tech with Earth's nuclear science. The result was terrifying. "High Council," he spoke into his recorder, "they're not just copying our technology. They're making it better." He watched as another human ship tested its weapons on an asteroid. turning it to dust with horrifying efficiency. They're learning too fast. We need to act now. Meanwhile, on Earth's moon base, Admiral Stone studied the latest report from their science division. "You're telling me," he said slowly, "that we can track their cloaked ships?" Dr. Miller nodded eagerly. "Their cloaking technology works by bending light and other energy around their ships." But he grinned. "They never thought to hide their gravity signature. We've modified our sensors to detect microgravitational distortions." Stone allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had spent decades dreaming up ways to detect invisible ships in their science fiction. Now those dreams were becoming reality. "Their entire strategy relies on staying hidden," Stone said. "They don't know we can see them." In the Galactic Council chambers, High Counselor Vale faced an increasingly panicked assembly. Master Thex's latest report had caused an uproar. "They've developed energy weapons that shouldn't be possible for centuries," one member shouted. "Their ships are appearing and disappearing from our sensors," another added. "They're expanding through their solar system at an exponential rate." Vale raised his hands for silence. "We understand the gravity of the situation," he said. "The containment of humanity has failed. We must decide our next action." A military advisor stepped forward. "Our analysis suggests they're preparing for war. They've built orbital defense platforms around their planet, established bases on their moon and nearby planets, and their ships are now armed with weapons that match our own." "How?" Vale demanded. "How have they progressed so far with just one fragment of our technology?" "Because," the advisor said grimly, "they think differently than us. We develop technology in a linear fashion, building carefully on what we know. Humans, they make leaps. They combine technologies in ways we'd never consider. They take risks we'd never dare." Back on Earth, humanity was indeed taking risks. In a secret facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, scientists had just achieved their greatest breakthrough yet. Faster than light travel, Dr. Miller announced to the assembled military leaders. "We've cracked it. The aliens use a form of space folding, but it's inefficient. We've combined it with our theoretical physics models to create something new." Admiral Stone studied the prototype engine. "How long until we can deploy it?" "First ship leaves tomorrow," Miller replied. "We're calling it the Thunderchild." In his hidden ship, Master Thex watched the humans prepare for their first FTL test. He should report it immediately, but something made him hesitate. The Council needed to understand what they were truly facing. The Thunderchild's engines flared to life. Reality bent, twisted, and the ship vanished. It reappeared exactly 1 light-year away, then returned. The journey had taken less than a minute. Thex finally sent his report, adding one personal note. "The humans aren't just mastering space travel. They're rewriting the rules. If we don't strike now, we may never get another chance." The Council would soon learn that even that warning came too late. Humanity wasn't just preparing to defend itself. They were getting ready to take the fight to the stars. The Council attack fleet emerged from Fold space in perfect formation. 500 ships, the largest fleet assembled in a millennium, filled the space between Mars and Jupiter. Their commander, Fleet Master Ron, allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. These humans would learn their place. "Send the demand for surrender," he ordered. "Give them 1 hour to respond." On Earth's moon base, Admiral Stone read the alien message with a grim smile. The massive view screen showed the Council fleet in all its glory, or at least the ships they weren't trying to hide. Thanks to humanity's gravity sensors, he could see the additional 300 cloaked vessels attempting to flank Earth's defenses. "Send our response," Stone ordered. In the Council fleet, Ron read the human message with confusion. It contained only 2 words: "Not today." Suddenly, alarms blared across his flagship. "Multiple contacts," his sensor officer shouted. "Impossible. They're everywhere." Human ships appeared from nowhere, not using Fold space, but something different. They simply materialized. The Council's sensors couldn't track them properly. 1 second empty space, the next, humanity's fleet. How many? Ron demanded. 2,000 ships, the officer whispered. Small ones. They're using some kind of new drive technology. Stone watched from his command center as humanity's swarm fleet deployed. The Council built massive ships, each one a fortress. Humanity had gone the opposite route. Smaller, faster vessels using their new quantum skip drives. They couldn't go as far as alien fold space, but they could jump instantly across short distances. All ships, Stone commanded, execute battle plan Thunder. The human fleet split into precise groups. Their formation made no sense to the Council commanders. Until the attack began. Small human ships blinked in and out of existence, appearing point-blank near Council vessels, firing their hybrid weapons, then vanishing before the aliens could respond. Impossible, Ron shouted as another cruiser exploded. Their technology is too primitive for this. Sir, his tactical officer called out. They can see our cloaked ships. They're targeting our hidden reserves. In the space around the battle, humanity's automated defense platforms activated. These stations, hidden in asteroids and small moons, carried weapons reverse-engineered from that first alien fragment. They opened fire, their synchronized attack catching the Council fleet in a deadly crossfire. Stone watched the battle unfold exactly as planned. The Council fleet's formation was breaking. Their massive ships, designed for long-range combat, couldn't track humanity's rapid attack vessels. Their cloaked ships, discovered and targeted, were being systematically destroyed. Sir, his communications officer reported, the alien commander is broadcasting on all frequencies. Put it through, Stone ordered. Fleet Master Ron's voice filled the command center, tight with barely controlled rage. This is impossible. You're savages. Primitives. How are you doing this? Stone's response was calm. You made 3 mistakes. First, you attacked us, giving us resolve. Second, you gave us your technology, giving us knowledge. Third, he paused, you gave us time to prepare. We used that time well. The battle lasted another 20 minutes. When it ended, 300 Council ships had been destroyed. The rest retreated in disorder, their neat formation forgotten as they fled into fold space. In the aftermath, Stone received another transmission, this one from Earth's Unified Command. Admiral, the Council fleet is running. Should we pursue? Stone looked at the battle damage reports. Humanity had lost ships too, but far fewer than expected. Their new tactics and technology had worked better than anyone hoped, but this was just the beginning. No pursuit, he ordered. Let them run. Let them tell the Council what happened here. He stood, watching Earth shine blue and peaceful in the distance. Let them learn that humanity will not be contained. The message would reach the Council soon enough. The age of hiding in the shadows was over. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they had announced their presence with thunder. Operation Breakthrough starts now, Admiral Stone announced to the assembled fleet commanders on the bridge of humanity's new flagship, the Defender. The holographic display showed their first target, a massive Council monitoring station hidden in the Kuiper Belt. The station had watched Earth for decades. Today, it would watch its last sunrise. All ships, execute quantum jumps on my mark, Stone ordered. The fleet of 3,000 vessels, some barely larger than old Earth fighter jets, waited in perfect formation. 3, 2, 1. Mark. Space rippled as humanity's vessels vanished, using their new short-range quantum drives. They reappeared surrounding the alien station. Before the station's crew could even trigger alarms, the attack began. Back in the Council chambers, High Counselor Vale received the news of the station's destruction with growing dread. How many other monitoring posts have we lost? His voice trembled. 17 in the last hour, sir. The humans. They're moving faster than we can track. Our sensors can't predict where they'll appear next. Master Thex, now serving as the Council's chief human expert, stepped forward. It's worse than that, he said. They're not just destroying our stations. They're copying all the data first. Every piece of our technology, every bit of intelligence, they're taking it all. In deep space, aboard the science vessel Discovery, Dr. Miller studied the latest data stolen from Council databases. "Admiral," he called over the secure channel, "you need to see this. We found their complete defense network, every hidden base, every cloaked fleet." Stone's hologram nodded grimly. "How many targets?" "Over 200 major installations. But sir, that's not the important part." Miller's eyes gleamed with excitement. "We've found their communication network. They use quantum-linked relays to coordinate their fleets. If we can capture one, we can listen to everything they say." Stone finished. "Select your target, Doctor. You'll have your relay within the day." The Council's military command was in chaos. Reports flooded in from across their territory. Human ships appearing from nowhere, striking with devastating precision, then vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. "They're not fighting fair," one commander complained during an emergency session. Master Thex laughed bitterly. "Fair. We watched them for decades. Judged them. Tried to cage them. Now you're surprised they don't follow your rules of warfare." "The humans are expanding their attack zone," another officer reported. "They've disabled 30% of our early warning network. Multiple member species are demanding we sue for peace." Vale stood at his window, watching the elegant spires of the Council city. "How did we miscalculate so badly?" "Because," Thex answered, "we thought technology alone determined a species' power. We never considered their adaptability, their creativity. Human ships are crude by our standards. But their tactics—" He shook his head in admiration. "They're fighting a war unlike anything in our history." On the edge of Council space, Stone's fleet prepared for their next strike. The quantum relay lay ahead, its defenses already mapped out by Earth's new sensor technology. "All ships, battle formation Delta," Stone commanded. "Remember, we take this one intact. Disable only. No destruction." His crew worked with quiet efficiency, each member knowing their role. Humanity had learned fast, adapting alien technology to serve their needs. But they kept their own strengths. Their ability to think differently, to improvise, to do the unexpected. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "the Council is sending reinforcements. 5 heavy cruiser groups." Stone smiled. "Good. More ships for us to study. All units, commence Operation Breakthrough Phase 2. Let's show them what humanity can really do." The battle was about to begin, and with it, another step toward humanity's emergence as a galactic power. The Council had wanted to contain humanity. Instead, they'd created their own worst nightmare, a species that combined human ingenuity with advanced alien technology. And they were just getting started. The Council chamber erupted in chaos as another member race announced its withdrawal. The Blue Star Alliance, one of the oldest Council members, had just declared its intention to seek separate peace with humanity. High Counselor Vale watched helplessly as his carefully maintained order crumbled. In the past week alone, 5 major species had broken ranks. Each one had the same message. The Council's attempt to contain humanity had been wrong. "Order!" Vale shouted, his voice barely heard over the arguing delegates. "We must maintain unity." "Unity?" The representative from the Blue Star Alliance stood tall. "Your unity nearly started a war we cannot win. The humans have destroyed half our monitoring network, captured our technology, and demonstrated superior battle tactics. And now," he paused dramatically, "they're offering fair trade deals to any species that recognizes their right to exist. In Earth's new space station Freedom, Admiral Stone met with his command staff. The holographic display showed their latest victory, the capture of a major Council shipyard. "Their fleet is in disarray," his tactical officer reported. "More importantly, 3 of their major species have already contacted us about trade agreements." Stone nodded. "And the quantum relay?" Dr. Miller stepped forward, grinning. "Better than we hoped. We're intercepting all their communications. The Council is falling apart, sir. Their own members are turning against them. Then it's time for the next phase, Stone said. Prepare the diplomats. Back in the council chamber, Master Thex delivered more troubling news. The humans have launched a diplomatic offensive, he reported. They're offering technology sharing, trade routes, and military protection to any species that allies with them. Protection, Vale scoffed. From what? From us, Thex said quietly. The smaller species remember how the council has treated them. The humans are offering them a choice, and they're choosing humanity. A junior aide rushed into the chamber, face pale. High Counselor, human ships have been detected approaching the capital. The chamber fell silent. Vale's hearts nearly stopped. How many? Just 3 vessels, the aide replied. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. They want to talk. The message played throughout the council city. Admiral Stone's voice, translated into all council languages, was calm but firm. For decades, you watched us in secret. You judged us unworthy of joining the galactic community. You tried to cage us, and when that failed, you tried to destroy us. Now we stand here, not as the primitives you dismissed, but as equals who demand recognition. In the council chamber, Vale listened with growing realization. The humans weren't here for revenge. They wanted something else. Stone's message continued. We bring terms for peace. Fair terms. We don't want to destroy the council. We want to reform it. To make it better. To ensure no other species faces the discrimination we faced. The human ships hung in space, their presence a statement. They weren't hidden like the council's observers. They weren't attacking like the council's fleet. They were simply waiting. Send them landing coordinates, Vale ordered, surprising everyone. And summon the full council. All species, even the minor ones we usually exclude. Sir, his aide asked, confused. Vale looked around the chamber at the representatives of species that had ruled the galaxy for millennia. The humans are right. We need to change. They fought us not because they had to, but because we gave them no choice. Now they're giving us a choice. The human ships began their descent toward the council city. Aboard the lead vessel, Earth's diplomatic team prepared for the most important meeting in human history. They carried with them humanity's demands, but also humanity's hopes. For a galaxy where no species would be judged as primitive or unworthy. The political storm was about to reach its peak, and from it would emerge a new galactic order. 1 year after the human ships landed in the council city, the galaxy had changed more than anyone could have imagined. High Counselor Vale stood in the newly rebuilt council chamber, watching representatives from 50 species, including many that had never had a voice before, take their seats. At the center of the chamber, beside the traditional council seal, hung Earth's flag, not as a sign of conquest, but as a symbol of change. The final votes are in. Vale announced to the assembled delegates, the reformed Galactic Council Charter has been approved. For the first time in our history, all spacefaring species will have an equal voice. Admiral Stone, now Earth's permanent representative to the Council, nodded in satisfaction. The past year had been challenging, but the results were worth it. Humanity had achieved something greater than military victory. They had sparked a peaceful revolution. The human delegation has something to share, Vale said, gesturing to Stone. Stone stood, activating the chamber's holographic display. We've discovered another young species, he announced. Like us, they're just beginning to reach for the stars. Unlike us, they won't face judgment or containment. The display showed a distant world where a young civilization had just launched their first space station. Under the old council, they would have been watched in secret, judged, and possibly contained. Earth will serve as their guides, Stone continued. We'll help them grow at their own pace, share technology when they're ready, and welcome them to the galactic community when the time comes. Master Thex, now serving as a bridge between old council traditions and new ways, spoke up. You're establishing yourselves as protectors of developing species. Someone has to ensure no one else faces what we faced. Stone replied. Earth's fleet will guard their worlds, while our scientists will monitor their progress, openly, not in secret. In orbit above the Council capital, the newest human ships patrolled alongside vessels from former Council races. The ships looked different now. Human innovation had merged with alien technology, creating designs that combined the best of both worlds. Dr. Miller, speaking from Earth via quantum link, reported on the latest technological breakthroughs. The sharing of knowledge between species had accelerated development beyond anyone's expectations. Humans taught others to think creatively, while ancient races shared their centuries of experience. The galaxy is entering a golden age, Vale admitted to Stone after the session. We feared your species would bring destruction. Instead, you brought change we didn't know we needed. Stone looked out at the city where, just a year ago, human ships had arrived demanding recognition. We learned from our own history, he said. Earth's nations spent centuries fighting each other before learning to work together. We wanted better for the galaxy. The council session ended with a historic announcement: the establishment of the Galactic Scientific Exchange. All species, regardless of their development level, would have access to a basic database of scientific knowledge. No more secrets, no more artificial constraints on growth. Some still fear you, Vale noted as they watched delegates leave. They say humans advance too quickly, adapt too readily. Good, Stone replied with a small smile. A little fear keeps people honest. But they'll learn what you've learned. Humanity would rather have allies than enemies, partners than subjects. As the sun set on the council city, ships from dozens of species flew through the darkening sky. On countless worlds, young civilizations looked up at the stars, not in fear of being judged, but in hope of joining a community that now welcomed diversity and growth. The old council had tried to contain humanity's unstoppable fury. Instead, they had unleashed humanity's greatest strength, the ability to turn enemies into friends, to transform defeat into victory, and to change not just themselves, but the entire galaxy for the better. A new era had begun, and this time, no species would face the stars alone.